Welcome back, family of soaps and hose. We are doing a special video today. It's gonna take place over a couple days. We're in freezing temperatures right now in Savannah, Georgia, so we are basically my rig's up in the garage for the next probably 3 or 4 days. Had to postpone a couple jobs for that, but so right before the end of the year I bought the new P40 system with the Honda GX 200, and I haven't installed it yet, so that's what we're going to do today. I've been buying probably not all the parts that I need, even though in my mind I got everything I need. Always forget something. But we're going to be mounting the P40 on the trailer. So I haven't decided yet. I had this made from a local welder to have the machine going this way, but I'm thinking of doing it a long ways. Got a 3-way valve, so I can essentially pick between my 12-volt hose and my P40 to run into here. I'm going to run this into the 3-way valve, run the 3-way valve up into here. You'll see that in the end, and then we are going to install this monstrosity. This is the SmartBypass with the soap valve. Some of them you can have the option of 2 or 3 for an extra 150 bucks. I went ahead and got the third one. I can always do degreaser in there. I can basically swap out whatever chemical I want to in the soap portion, so I got the third one, you know, just in case. And that is gonna mount right here somehow, some way. Gonna have to get some vertical bars to go right here to attach that to. But that is what we're doing today, folks. Well, probably for the next couple days, so bear with me. I haven't seen a lot of good videos on the plumbing of the P40, actually with the SmartBypass. So hopefully, if I can put a good enough video together, it will help people out, because it's been I wouldn't say a struggle, but it's taken a lot of thought on how I want to plumb this thing. And if I can put a video out, make it easier for any of y'all, that'd be great. So, all right, y'all enjoy the show. What's going on, everybody? It is day 2 and take 2, actually. I did this yesterday. I think it was getting dark, so we're gonna do this again. So I have my P40 mounted now on my machine, or on my trailer. This is the machine, and I also have the SmartBypass. This is the option with the soap module. I got this just in case I wanted to you know, put a drop stick in some degreaser or whatnot. That way I have the option. It was only like $150 more to get the third metering valve, so I went ahead and got it. But I'm gonna do a little preliminary, show you guys kind of how I am going to plumb this thing up. And once I'll have like a time lapse on the build itself. So let's start with the water side first. So I'm gonna put this bulkhead right here on this leg of the on my 550 gallon water tank. Gonna run a tube from there to the filter, and then out the filter is gonna run to that T-fitting. So this T-fitting, it's gonna come into this part of the T-fitting. So then the first output of the T is actually gonna run to the water inlet of the proportioner. The other part of the T is actually gonna run to this on the, this is gonna be basically the remote rinsing module, which is gonna be phenomenal. On the chem side, the chem is actually going to be a 1-inch tube from here, and I'm going to put it, it's going to go straight to the top of my SH tank, right? And then the soap, I got a 15-gallon soap container I'm actually going to put right there in the middle. Now, as far as the suction in there, the inlet to the pump, so going into the pump is going to be a 1-inch tube from here. It's going to run along the side down there, and it's actually going to run up into here. This is the inlet to the pump. You can actually orientate that however you want. It's gonna be probably just gonna have it straight down. As far as the bypass goes, the bypass is gonna run from this part of the proportioner to this right here. That is the bypass, the top one right there. What are we missing here? And then the output of the pump. So this is going to get interesting here. So let me get up here. So the output of the pump is going to be, it's right here. So I'm going to have that run into this three-way valve right here. I'm going to have this run up to my soft wash reel. This is going to run up to there. And this side of the three-way valve is actually going to go to my 12 volt. That way I can determine with the flip of this little lever. So if I put it right there, I'm able to use the 12 volt using the same hose reel. And then as soon as I move this switch over, it's hard to do this one-handed. As soon as I do this, which is mainly going to be on this is if I'm using the P40 with that hose reel. So it's interchangeable. That way I don't have to have any quick connects or I thought about doing the what do you call them, the clamps. Anyways, thought about doing those, but someone at the pressure washing store suggested that it's a little more money, but in the long run I think it's probably a better idea. This is a more permanent solution. So anyways, yeah, I finally got I bought these from Amazon. They came in today. So you got a bunch of hose clamps, cheap as heck too. They're the ones I need are about $2 a piece at Lowe's, and I need quite a bit of them. So ordering these through Amazon. I'll put the link down in the description. You get like 200 and something hose clamps. Most of them are pretty small, not going to use, but either way it's cheaper in the long run. But anyways, I'll get this video going on the build, and I really hope that this helps you guys with the P40 and especially with the SmartBypass, because there's not very many videos of the SmartBypass being plumbed. So hope this helps you guys. We're going to learn together. So yeah, let's do it. Alright, so I'll show you a little tip. I'm glad I checked this. So before you drill your hole for your bulkhead, make sure it fits. Look, here's the bulkhead I'm putting in. See that? See how much play there is? There's only going to be that much left over for it to grab to, so I actually need to go get the next smallest size of this hole saw to fit it right. Otherwise water may leak out once I tighten it. So I'm actually gonna run to Lowe's again. It's an ongoing thing. I'm glad Lowe's is like 5 minutes from my house. It's getting out of control. All right, I'll be back. Now for the fun part. Had to get into my Irish setters. Okay. Shit, how did I fit in here last time? Apparently I didn't take the old one out. Everybody, I'm back. Had to take a couple day hiatus because of the snow. As you can see, we've still got snow. Sun never sees this side of my house. So there's our wakeboards. We actually took the boots off and used those for basically sleds going down the hill. I'll tell you what, the things are super fast. So we are back at it. I just got the SmartBypass mounted on these vertical pieces of wood here, painted them black. So now we got to plumb the water down into the T right there, and then from the right side of the T is going to come up to here. So we're going to plumb that real quick, and then we're going to start running. This is the 1-inch line that goes to the P40 over there, right there. And the bypass is going to go to the other part of the machine. So let's get this thing plumbed up. I'm ready to get this thing. I got a lot of jobs coming up. Been having to push everything off because of the winter or the snow and the cold. So let's I'm gonna get this done, knocked out, and get a couple jobs done with it this weekend, hopefully. So we got that plumbed in. Goes right down into that T. Now we're gonna run the other part of it to this right now. So now we're gonna run the 1-inch line from here all the way back to the machine. If I have any more left, I actually left this one a little short right here, and it's actually like pulling up on the thing. I'm actually gonna cut a different piece a little bit longer to fix that. Hey y'all, sorry about the weird angle, but kind of running out of space here. But I'm going to now hook this up to the suction portion of the P40. Alright, so I try to save some money by ordering these things through Amazon, but they keep, watch, once it gets so tight it just slips. Look at that piece of junk. Looks like I'm gonna have to go by Lowe's and count all these and actually get the correct ones. That way I know they're not gonna break or create air bubbles in the line. Not sure what's going on over there. We got kids howling like wolves. So we're gonna run the bypass line now. The bypass hooks into this part of the SmartBypass right here on the clear block. I'm gonna run it. So I'm gonna hook it up right here. It's gonna run down all the way along the bottom of the trailer. It's gonna come up to this right here. So I'm basically gonna run it the same route. I have the supply line. So I'm gonna do that real quick. It's starting to get cold and I need to park this thing overnight because it's gonna get well below freezing tonight. So I'm gonna try and run these two lines and then call it for the night and hopefully finish up So the bypass line is ran to the block. So basically this thing is all plumbed except for the chem. I got to build a drop stick. I have all the stuff I need. Before I actually put the drop stick into the SH, I'm gonna kind of rig a like a 5-gallon bucket with a drop stick. That way I can make sure that it's pulling chemical and there's no leaks and everything. I don't want to just test it out with SH. So, but the next step, what I need to do is, this is that 3-way I was telling you about. So the output of the P40 right there is going to come into that barb on the right. The output of the Delavan, I'm going to run it down through here, and it's actually going to go into the 3-way on the left, and then that barb right there is going to run to the hose reel. That way I can switch between, if it's to the right like it is now, it's the P40, and if it's down, it's to the Delavan. That way I don't have to put any quick connection or anything here. Yes, I know it's another, you know, spot to fail spot. I'm not too worried about it. I mean, as long as everything's tight, it should be good to go. What's going on, everybody? I think it's day 4. Super nice out today. So I messed up yesterday at the end of the video. I realized when I ran my bypass line that I did not have the 15 to 20 foot of coiled up hose. What that does is, after the bypass, when it bypasses on the machine, it circulates that water through that long hose, and it gives that water enough time to cool down, enough to where when it comes back around and hits the machine in that loop, it does not overheat any of the seals and anything like that. So long story short, I wasted a bunch of non-suction hose, which is not cheap. So I went and bought some braided hose, and I got 25 feet of it, and I'm going to use the entire 25 feet reel, or the roll of it, and I'm going to redo this section. I also went to Lowe's and got the actual correct wire clamps. That way these don't break on me. Last thing we want is for these to break down during operation. So I actually got the correct ones. On the bypass line, it's okay to not use the non-collapsible, because that's the suction hose. So the braided is also very cheaper, more cheaper. Anyways, braided on the bypass line, anything that sucks, that does suction, use the non-suction tubing. So I got that ran now. Took a couple seconds. Braided hose all the way down. Yeah, it's a little mess back there, but I have the little clamps that I'm going to screw down to the bottom of the trailer for hose management. And then I got the hose coiled up right there. It doesn't look like a lot, but that's 25 feet. Most people do 20, whatever. The more the merrier. In my opinion, it's going to cool the water off more. Eventually, I want to get some sort of like even if it's a temporary, I fill up a 5-gallon bucket with cold water and set it right here. Put that hose down in the cold water. That way when it does circulate, it cools down even more. But that's, I don't know, may not need to even do that, but take care of your equipment, it'll take care of you. So next we are going to strap this 3-way valve down. So I bought this, it's like metal strapping. You can cut it to length, and I'm going to wrap that, I'm going to screw it down on, I'm basically going to crisscross it so that thing does not move off the deck.
Supera
It's about as far from perfect as they come, but it is not moving. P40, 12 volt. So now that I got that mounted down there, I'm now gonna run all the, so this is suction tube. I'm gonna swap this out for the braided. So I'm gonna run braided from here down along there to the one on the left. I'm gonna run the output of that three-way up to this using the braided, and then I'm gonna have braided from the right one up to the output of the P40, and then we should be good to go. Besides the suction hose for the SH into the SH tank. I still gotta build that drop stick, but we'll get to that. So I got to thinking, I only have so much of this braided hose. I would rather have it on the output of the P40, that whole line, and from the three-way valve to the reel, than on the 12 volt. So if I have enough braided line when I'm done, I'm going to use it for this little run from the pump to the three-way. Otherwise, I'm going to use the suction hose because, I mean, that's only 100 psi, so it's not going to hurt anything. Alright, have that done. Now we need to do the line from the 12 volt down into there. And good news is we got enough braided hose, I believe. So we're going to use that. Alright, so I have got a major problem here. So for one, these little three-way banjo valves are not watertight. And by that, I mean, so when I have the, so I tried to hook this up, hooked up the 12 volt, got it primed. So theoretically, with this valve shut, with that valve shut, the water should go here and here, should not backfeed. Well, it does. So even with the hose, the gun on, shut, once that pressure starts building, it actually starts going that way. So it actually goes straight through the banjo valve. So the water was going into the output of the P40. So I tried to do something smart. Actually, it wasn't my idea. It was at the pressure washing store. They told me I could do that. So I'm probably gonna take this $65 part back and get my money back and just do it the old way, and you know, put a quick connect right here, have a quick connect go from here to here, and then at the end of the P40 line down there, have a quick connect, and I'll just, whichever one I use, I'll connect up to the hose reel. So I mean, pretty pissed off about this because now that puts me back another day. I just got 2 quotes accepted just now. So now I've got more jobs backed up. So now it's frustrating, y'all. But anyways, it is getting dark and I need to get ready for my daughter's basketball banquet. And I will, yeah, I'll continue this video. Gotta love all these issues. What's going on, everybody? It is the next day and I ran to the, we're in my garage, by the way, because it's raining out. Had to move the golf cart out the way. And I'm gonna do this not in the rain. I got a bald head, so I hate rain dripping on my head. Anyways, I went to the store. I talked with them about this 3-way valve, and apparently it is essentially faulty. It shouldn't be, the water should not be able to go all the way through the system. So I'm actually gonna do this completely different. I'm gonna put a cam lock right here at the reel and at the end of each of this cable. So basically here at the end of this cable, I'm gonna put this cam lock, and then I went ahead and got this ag hose instead of the braided for the output of the P40, and I'm actually going to put this into the cam lock. That way all I gotta do is unhook whichever hose I want there at the reel, and I can switch between my 12 volt and my P40. That is the plan. So I'm trying to get this done today. I actually had to call out of my full-time job tomorrow because I have jobs lined up tomorrow. I've got to finish a patio and I got to seal it Friday when it's going to be warm out. And I also have a house wash stucco. So I'm actually going to play with the P40 tomorrow, hopefully. Messing with the ratios to get really dirty stucco out. So we'll see that video soon. Alright, got that one on. So what I did is I basically put 2 hose clamps on, one tightening each way. That way that's on the pressure side, so be smart about it. I'd rather, you can't really blow hoses on the suction side. Damn. You're not really gonna blow hoses on the suction side. It's gonna be on the pressure side, so that will just hold a lot better. I'm gonna route this how I want it to go. Still not sure. And then we will put the end on this at the hose reel. We're gonna remove this now, and then we're gonna put in the cam lock using a bunch of this blue monster tape. That way everything can hook right into there. Alright, now I'm going to put this cam lock fitting right here, and because this is low pressure, I'm only going to use one of these things right here, and that should, I left enough room for it to kind of loop around. Might be too much. I don't want it to kink that hose. If I go too much that way, it's gonna kink. I don't know if you can see that. Right there. So, probably just wanna go, actually cut off a whole bunch more, about right there. All right, let's do this. Short little run, no kinks. I'm actually gonna test it here in a second. I'm gonna run this hose out to my... Alright, so this is the initial flow. So the pump is kicked off. And granted, this is not made for a 12 volt, so technically, I mean, it shouldn't be, you know, super far, but well, there's no leaks. The cam locks seem to be working well. Again, this is Very low pressure. Now I'm gonna have water all in my garage. My wife's gonna love that. All right, so we got that ran. It's good to go. Now we've got to do the I also got a lid or a cap for this. So when it's not in use, so one of them's going to be hooked up at all times, but when whichever one's not in use, I'm going to go ahead and cap it. So there's a cap on that. I think I got a squeegee. It's soaked in here. Look at that. All right, let's run the pressure line, or let's get this end on this bad boy for the P40, and then we will be done running the pressure side of the P40. Now we will put this on. Had to cut about 8 inches off to get it to fit right. That way it's not, you know, bowed down here or whatever. That way it sits nice and, you know, nice and neat. That is that. So this goes on just like that. Put both of these down, tighten them. These pins right here, if you take these out, they actually go up here to lock it in place so that this thing will not accidentally come unopened. Probably only ever going to use this feature on the P40 just because of the pressure. All right, so everything's ran for the P40. I believe so. I'm gonna go around and all the 1-inch connections with the hose, I'm gonna go ahead and double hose clamp them. I went and bought some extra hose clamps. I also need to put on this little exhaust deflector for the machine, because as you can see, it's pointed straight towards this hose reel. So I'm actually going to deflect it back this way, back that way. I got everything hooked up and we should be good to go ahead and start this thing. I got the battery hooked up. I don't have the chem line ran yet. Excuse the garage. So the chem line goes right here, but I just want to make sure the water is good and, you know, the machine is working the way it should be. But here is, so it's on rinse mode. There's your chem. There's rinse. That ball valve turns so fast. It's the SmartBypass system, or the Flow Pro, goes a lot slower. The actuators are just stronger, I think. But what I did to prime this was I took off the inlet valve, I unscrewed it, and I filled this hose completely full of water until it couldn't take any more. See, the water's right there, and there's water in the system. That way it's already primed. System's on. As soon as I turn it on, you got to make sure you're on the trigger, and I'm basically gonna check for leaks, make sure there's no leaks, no hoses blowing before I start messing with the chem portion of this. So let's see if we can get a good angle here. This thing was already set at the store that I bought it at in Savannah. Fingers crossed, because this thing sprays water all over my garage. My wife is not going to be happy. Not sure what's going on here. I actually think I need gas in this thing. I think they emptied it out. Definitely need gas. Not worried about filling her up right now. I just want to make sure she runs. Alright, let's try this again. I don't know. I'm gonna set y'all up. Alright, trigger pulled. What have I been doing my whole life? That thing's amazing. I shot it all the way to my basketball hoop from here. I don't know if you can see that, but that's pretty far. And I didn't even have it throttled up all the way, which I've been told you don't need to really. Anyways, it took a while for all the air bubbles to get back out because of the bypass. But I mean, that's solid. That's full of water. I mean, this thing is primed. Now I can run my chem line to I'm gonna do a drop stick with a uniseal, and shoot, after that I think I'm good to go. I need to figure out this whole battery situation because I don't want to have 3 different batteries on this trailer. I may just get longer battery cables for the P40 and hook into the starter battery for the GX 690, and then just run, I don't know, SmartBypass needs to have a battery too for the remote controller. I'll figure it out. Anyways, this thing's a beast. I'm gonna continue the video here shortly. So we're about to put in the drop stick for the SH. Before I glue this on, so what I'm gonna do is, not glued yet, what I'm gonna do is put this this on right here. I'm gonna tighten it, Then I'm gonna cut the tube to length. I'm gonna get next to the, you'll see what I'm doing. Some people, sorry if I'm you know, people new to this need to know this stuff. I mean, I watched 1,000 YouTube videos when I first started. I mean, to be honest with you, I still watch YouTube videos. I still subscribe to the same people. Get all that knowledge. When I was deployed overseas for about 7 months, I put thousands of hours on YouTube videos. Got to keep it fresh, you know what I mean? Didn't want to come home lacking in my skills. So Cliff from Pink Flamingo, you were one of the main guys I watched, so appreciate it. You kept me entertained during deployment. It was great. Got that on, so I'm going to cut this to length over here at the SH tank. See if I can raise you up. And I believe, so that's not that much of a run, I'm going to put it right here on this corner, the Uraseal, and drop that drop stick down on this side. So what I'm going to do to make sure this is routed the correct way, I'm actually going to start over here at the SmartBypass. So I'm gonna route it in over here. I'm gonna connect it and then get it all good on this end, and then I'll run the slack that way. That way, I'm not sure exactly how I want to route that. That is, what is that? Oh no. Do I need 1 inch? Uh-oh. I may have messed up, y'all. I messed up. I need 1 inch for that. Oh, that sucks. That's expensive. Ooh, L&H closes. Well, to be continued. So what I decided to do, since I need 1 inch everything for the SH line, I went and got a 1 inch tubing. I'm gonna put this on. It's got the 1 inch threads there. So I'm gonna need tubing anyway, so I'm gonna go to L&H Industrial in Savannah, Georgia. That's where I get all my stuff. I'm gonna go there first thing in the morning. Basically everything's gonna be ready to go except for running the line. And because my truck has that generator on it, I'm gonna plug in my heat gun. I'm gonna put the 1 inch line from the SmartBypass system to here, and I'm literally just going to use this as a drop stick tomorrow. I'm not worried about permanently putting it in the tank right now. Considering all things considered, I'm not worried about it, but I want to run this system tomorrow and see how it functions. So I'm going to do some testing with it tomorrow for the first time, so stay tuned. For those that don't know, when you're putting on PVC, PVC things, you want to clean it with this stuff first. So it's pretty easy. You just do this. Let's see if I can get you. There we go. It's running around that part. This stuff dries super quick. Just gonna let that dry. Then I'm gonna run it around inside of there. And you're gonna do the same thing with the glue. Ooh, that's a lot. It'll be alright, it'll dry. If not, the bleach will clean it out. Then you want to take your glue. I can't believe it's not solidified yet. I haven't used this stuff in forever. Ooh, maybe it is. Shake it up a little bit. That stuff is potent. Put the glue around it like so. Not gonna lie, that's that may not be good. Let's see what happens. What's the worst that happens, right? And then you're just gonna, just like that. Let it dry a little bit, get all this little extra stuff out of there. That's it. That's all my drop sticks use that same thing, and they work great. So I was at L&H Industrial and I got the drop stick. So for now I'm just gonna put the drop stick in my SH tank. I'm gonna get a bulkhead and permanently affix it there, but for now I'm just doing a drop stick. But I haven't primed the SH yet, so what I'm gonna do is, you can see the drop stick there, big 1-inch tubing. So I'm gonna start the system and I'm gonna slowly open this chem valve and load that that line with SH. When I'm done, I'm just gonna put it in the drop stick in the water and I'm gonna flush the whole system out. So let's see how this goes. You should start to see chem come right there.
I didn't realize it at the time, but this process right here, I never did hit the button for the SmartBypass to go into chemical mode, so I didn't record the whole thing, but I did realize eventually that what mistake I made. I went ahead and fixed it and continued the job.
So I've used this this machine on a job just now and it's phenomenal. Took about 10 minutes to prime this chem line. So you basically got to mess around with this, you know, turning this all the way on, this off, to load the chem into the thing. I just have a drop stick that I dropped in, so it wasn't primed to begin with. Anyway, so let's go through the schematic, if you will, of this system. So don't mind my hose. So the input to the P40, let's start there. So water from the tank to a filter to this T. So we got a T fitting right here. So the first break off of it is going to come from the T fitting straight up into here, the water line. And the second one, if you can see, it actually goes down and around and it comes up to here. So this is where the ball valve is to turn the chem on and off. The machine, this is the input to the machine, and that comes from here. So this is the input to the machine, 1-inch line all the way down to the input to the P40. So the bypass, let's go there. So the bypass goes, it's always going to be connected to this little pressure knob here. So the bypass, here's looped, it's looped down here. This is a 25-foot run, and that goes all the way along the side up into here. So this is 3/4 inch tubing. It's just braided, it's not the non-collapsible. You can use that, there's not a lot of pressure, so you can use that. So let's go look at the chem. So here's your ball valve, and it says chem right there. This is a 1-inch line. I messed up to begin with and bought 3/4 inch tubing. Obviously doesn't work, so that goes from here, and you're going to plumb that into your SH tank or whatever you're using. Output of the P40 is going to be right here where this yellow line is. So that runs just down here, and I've actually got it hooked with a cam lock to the reel. I use cam locks so they're interchangeable. I can switch over to the 12 volt if I want to use that instead, for roofs or whatever, to be able to control the chem a little more than the P40, because that thing puts out a lot. But that is my setup. I also added this, by the way. I got this from Amazon. This thing's only been running for 30 minutes total, but it's easy. I got it hooked on there with some 3M like I don't know, tape stuff, and you just wrap it around your spark plug cable. That way you can track when to do maintenance on this machine. I think every 50 hours you require maintenance. But yeah, all in all, this was a great investment. If you have the means to get this machine, I would highly suggest it. And the SmartBypass is just, this is not needed, but it's one of them things where it's like the Flow Pro, that it's a game changer when it comes to time. Switching between chem and water, it's phenomenal. I've only used it for 30 minutes, like I said, but I can already tell it's going to be worth it in the long run. So that is the soaps and hose review of the new Comet P40 with the upgraded manifold and the SmartBypass. Hope you enjoyed the video. If I have something wrong, please put it in the comments. I'm open to any criticism. So hope you all have a good day and keep on washing.